Hey y'all, I am back again. My name is Marasia Simone. I'm here to talk herbal remedies, soul care, all the things, wellness. Maybe not all the things, but some of the things. So I've been doing soul sessions on Sunday, and this Sunday I didn't do one. So this is kind of my replacement of a soul session because I'm in the middle of packing. I am moving out of my townhome. And going to live in somebody else's house for like 6 months. And so I'm excited about it because it'll be a new experience. And then after that, I don't know what I'm doing, but my faith has grown tremendously in the last year. So I know that it'll work out and I know that things will align. But I'm excited to move into this other person's house because they have a fence, they have a yard, and I've got 2 big dogs that have been dying to have their own yard. So we're gonna enjoy our summer. We're gonna enjoy the time, and I'm just feeling really grateful and blessed to even be able to have the experience in the space that I'm having it in. And so yeah, I know that I need to be more consistent with my soul sessions, and that's why I'm here today, because I'm in the middle of moving, packing, cleaning, all those things, and I saw the sun setting, and I said, let me get some of this. So that definitely encouraged the video because I was like, ooh, it's glowing time. So we can all glow together. I guess I shouldn't because the sun is in my eyes, so I can't really see as good as I would like to. I guess I don't need to see myself. But yeah, so I haven't been talking a lot about like the tea business. But that's not necessarily what soul sessions are for. So let's kind of keep it to soul sessions. But I will tell you what I'm drinking because I want to start doing that in soul sessions. It's talking about why I'm drinking certain herbs, why I'm bringing certain things to the forefront. So right now, I was doing some content for the website and was making different teas. And I knew I needed spring clean, so I added spring clean to my drink for tonight. But it has dandelion leaf, nettle, oat straw, and lemon peel. This is supposed to be, or not oat straw. I don't know why I want to say oat straw about everything. It has mullein. And so this is supposed to, this is supposed to be kind of like a flushing out of the system. A lot of people always look for detox teas, and the best way to detox the body is to focus on what you're putting into the body. And I know a lot of us want to do those things where we start just taking things away and start not eating or different things like that. And yeah, there are detoxes at work where you can do that. I don't do those. That's not how I was taught. I was taught to focus on the liver, focus on detoxing, focus on providing the things that naturally, the organs that naturally detox your body, providing them what they need. So you would drink herbs that, so maybe different bitters or things that support the liver. So this one is more of a diuretic than it is a, if you blocked, you're about to get it all out. It's more of, you're gonna keep going to the bathroom, releasing fluids. So that's why I'm drinking it, because I need a diuretic in my life. I've been having a lot of ankle swelling, different things like that, but a lot of it is because I'm not drinking enough water. So now that we got that out the way, the health part, the physical, the herbal remedies, let's talk about like, what's our soul talking about? Like, what is the energy of the soul right now? I wanted to do, you know, like on Dora the Explorer and all the, no, leave him alone. Leave him alone. She always messing with Bruno. Bruno don't be bothering nobody. He's just laying there. She trying to clean him. Okay, so, what was I saying? Oh, you know how like shows like Dora the Explorer and all of them, they'll do those asking a question and they'll pretend like you've answered it, like you got it right. And they're like, yeah, good job. I want to do something like that. But more so like it's kind of like a live energy where I'm asking or posing a question and giving space for us to kind of move through the question together rather than me just like asking a question and then continuing to ramble. I want to like pause so that we can move, you see Nola? Move through what it is. So I don't know if it'll flow with today because today we're going to free flow and just here to connect and catch up and to make sure like we're still checking in. And we're in the season of building the community. So as you begin to build the community, everybody who wants to be here is not going to be here. And everybody isn't going to know how to be here. And it's not meant for everyone to be here. And so being patient in that season of there's a group of people, there's a connection, there's a space that's kind of looking for you to be present. And so remembering to be present, because I think sometimes, like, especially when you try to do these different videos, it looks so cool looking at your eyes in the light because you never get to see like what color they really are. But anyway, I think a lot of people automatically just want these comments and these responses, but you got to create a safe place for people to share, like to feel like they can say what's really on their mind and what they're really feeling. And honestly, creating a safe space for me is really about giving people space to like respond whenever you feel led to. Because I feel like if it's just automatic, if you're here, say this, absolutely like the video. But if you're here, say this. It could be a little pressure sometimes because I know I a lot of the times am just a watcher. Like now that I've been more active on social media, I like to interact, at least by liking. But some things I just want to watch. I just want to receive in the moment, and that's okay. So if you're here and you're just receiving, that's okay. I'm going to still be here. I'm still going to show up. I'm still going to ask y'all to comment when you feel led to, but if you don't have to. And so that is the energy that my soul is talking about right now. It's just kind of this releasing control of the outcome of things, showing up anyway. Like I'm learning what it means to show up. That's it. Like I didn't prepare this, I didn't do that, but I'm still here and I'm excited to be here. And I haven't been excited to be a lot of places in a long time. Like I've been kind of middle of the road or like trying to be excited, but to fully feel like a full body excitement, that hasn't happened in a long time. I think with this whole change and transition, it's been a lot of unknowns. It has been a lot of instability, like feeling like it even when I am stable. And so I'm in a season where like things are like calming down and we're getting a little stability, even in the midst of like I'm moving, but I feel stable. You know what I mean? So it's just a different relationship that I'm having with myself, which we talked about last week. And so I'm excited about that. But yeah, what I mean about showing up in the moment is like, for example, this weekend I had a pop-up that I was supposed to attend, and I did. But I was so exhausted from moving, from being on my cycle. I didn't have time to like, there were a lot of products that I wanted to restock. I needed to remake. I needed to do all these things. I need to go get some herbs so I can make one of the best blends, like everybody's favorite blend. You know, I know that one is going to sell. I know people enjoy it. But I had to make do because I did not feel like going. And I was going to this event and I needed product to be there. And so what I did was I made a whole new blend. I'm like, what do we have? What herbs do we have? What do we like? What can we make with the herbs that we like? And I ended up making a rooibos chai. Loved it. It's called Ganny Spice. I came out with it for Mother's Day. I made it a whole ordeal, a whole thing. And when I went to the event, it sold out. It was everybody's favorite drink. And I'm just like, man, I didn't even make enough. Like, it was raining, it was wet. I didn't know if people would show up. And so it was all these factors. And I'm like, I just don't want to work too hard when I'm tired. Like, I don't have the capacity to do that, to like burn myself out, to make it perfect, to make sure I had the right thing. You're gonna hear me talk about capacity a lot lately, or here this year, because it's been a big topic. I know like this year we were supposed to be talking about like the medicine of the rose, and I think we are. I may not be intentionally mentioning it, but we are, because it's asking you to develop a different frequency around yourself. Like rose is the highest vibrating plant. And it is very spiritual, it's very sacred, and it's one of those things that we use so often we don't even realize how potent and powerful its medicine is. But it's really potent, it's really powerful, and it's life-changing. It's like literally moving from spaces where you were just going along to get along to moving with authority, moving with purpose, moving in alignment, like moving with the heart. And when we move with the heart, a lot of things in our life begin to heal. Like I've watched my whole mind reframe, the whole way I see myself, the way I see the world, the way I see life, the way I see spirituality, the way I see religion. Everything has changed for me to center my heart. And it's like, what do you really believe? You know, it's kind of like this gentle conversation where you like looking somebody in the eye and like, I hear what you're telling me. I hear what you're showing me. but like, I really want to know what you believe. Like, not what you've been told to believe or how you've been told to move. It's like, if you had to paint your ideal picture of life, of the world, of who you are, like how you want to show up, who would you be? And I realized I wanted to be this person who was inclusive. Like, if I think about who I am, and I hope I remember what I was talking about before. Okay, I remember. If I think about who I am, who I've been since I was a child, I don't like leaving people out. I don't like feeling like someone is not included, feeling like they won't have a piece of happiness, they won't have a piece of joy because of X, Y, and Z. And so for me, sometimes religion can be hard for me because, you know, especially when you come from a Christian background, you know, my parents were very open enough to where I was like, I didn't have to be in church every week. It wasn't like that. I chose to go to church. I chose to get baptized. I chose everything about my, the way I practiced this religion. Nobody was making me do anything. But it is the background that I came from. And so I can honor the space, but also know that I don't believe that everyone's fate is based on whether they believe in this one religion. Because for me, that just doesn't sit right in my heart. Like, I just don't believe that. And so it was, you know, it was questions like that. Like, how do you show up in a space even if you believe differently, you know? And so I feel like there's no one space that I sit in fully. And I think that's for a lot of people. I think we just don't talk about it enough. And so what I love doing is appreciating the differences in people's experiences and people's ability to see God, people's way to express God presence or to feel connected to God. Like, I love witnessing the presence of God in spaces. It doesn't matter the religion. Not necessarily me fully immersing myself into it. I'm not there yet. I just appreciate it, and I understand enough to know that God is still present with these people of all kinds of religions and practices. And so that's what, to me, the heart work shows you, is that whatever's in the heart is what comes out. Whatever in the heart, whatever we center, kind of touches on the heart. And so if we've got a bunch of like junk in our heart, a lot of filth, and that's what we center in our lives. If we have a lot of negativity, if we're low on our self-worth, that's what we center in life. And so how's your heart? You know, checking in with your heart. Where's your heart at? What does it need? And so that is what the medicine of the rose, the year of the rose, was supposed to be in this space, was looking at that. And so I feel like with these conversations we're having, like, that's still being honored. That's still being, those questions are still being asked. I'm not explicitly saying, hey, we're talking about the medicine of the rose, but I want you to know that that's still happening. And especially when we talk about capacity, because it's no longer about, you know, how many more things can I do? It's how can I align with that thing, that space, that environment, the way I envision things. How can I align with that? And how can I leave space for the other things to fall away, but still be gentle enough with my heart? You know what I mean? Because there's going to be a lot of grief when things are falling away. And so the rose is also grief medicine. That is why it is for transition and transformation. Because floral remedies are naturally very emotionally supportive, very good with grief. And so these are things I say all the time. But I keep forgetting that there was a Cree Summers interview that I watched, and there's a piece of it that just keeps sticking with me, but I can't, every time I try to reference it, I cannot remember it. It's like at the tip of my tongue. But yeah, so let's go back to the story. So I had this pop-up product, Ganny Spice. And so I ended up making a rooibos chai called Ganny Spice, in honor of my mother and all the mothers of my lineage. Because my family's from New Orleans, and I see like chai as like this big gumbo. Like, it's this big conglomerate. I don't know if that's the right word for that, but this big like bowl or cup or pot of like spices and different herbs, and you know, like, it's gumbo. It's the gumbo of tea for me. And so when I go home, we're always like, can we get some gumbo? When I go back home to New Orleans, I'm not from there, but my family is. Like, my parents are from there. I didn't grow up there, but that's where all of like my grandmother, my cousins, that's where everybody's at. And so that's what we want when we go to New Orleans. And so when I had chai, I remember being like, ooh, I love the heavy spices. I love the robust flavors. I love everything about it. And so it would always make me chai lattes. I still do. And so I was like, what am I going to make? And I knew I had the stuff for a chai because I'm always drinking a chai. But I didn't have any more black tea. So I was like, let's do a rooibos chai. Like, that's really good. And so I made it and I was just putting things together. And I was like, oh my God, I love this. So I'm thinking, you know, this is not a new drink. Like, yes, I may have added some different things, but like, this is not a new drink. So I took it out there. In my sample, I made a little latte. It was so good, almond milk creamer. And because I don't like using milk because milk makes it too thick. But if you steep it with water and then add a little cream at the end, like it's the perfect consistency for me. So anyway, I took it out there. It sold out. People wanted more because I didn't make enough. Because I thought I made enough for like if I was going to a general pop-up. But like, even though it was raining, people were out there. People were coming. People were like, ooh, you should have made more of this. We want this. Like, you know, everybody's talking about, oh, you got to go see her with her tea. Everybody's been talking about this tea. I got to come get some of this tea. And I'm just like, what's happening? But it was nice because it was not planned. And so what I'm realizing about this faith walk, about this journey, me moving, me leaving my job, all of these things, you're being led places. You're being called places. And to honor that call, because when you honor it, it may be uncomfortable. It may be even painful, but like a lot of the pain and discomfort is our resistance or us breaking through this kind of mask or like covering we've had on for so long, breaking out of these things. Like you think about being in something and then like over time it hardens. Like, I don't know. I keep thinking of like clay. And you put clay around things and then it hardens over time. We mix it with water and all of that stuff. And so like you're breaking it off, you're peeling it off the skin, and you're trying to be like new again. You're trying to come out of this sort of coating. And that's kind of, I think, what makes it so heavy for things like that. But if you're being led somewhere, you have to go. When you're being called, you have to go. And sometimes it's just a nudge. Sometimes it's a nudge. And if you listen to the nudge, you might only get a nudge. You might get to go through the door and, you know, butterflies and rainbows. But it was heavy for me. It was heavy, but I knew in my heart. That's why I talk about the heart work, because I knew in my heart this was right for me. And I would have moments where I would doubt it and things like that, but I could never not do it because I knew in my heart it was right. You know, even if I would play with the idea of like, I need to go back to the corporate space, or yeah, I'm not quitting my job, or like, I don't even need to be in this herbal space. I don't need to be in the wellness space. Nobody wants to hear me talk. Yeah, I would listen to those things, but I would never let it control my final action. Like it might slow me down. It might give me some stagnancy, of confusion, but it never stopped me from keeping going. And so like a lot of things are falling into place that have been out of place for over a year now. And they've been gradually, like, as I look back, even when I was going through it, I could see the gradual change. It wasn't like there was nothing and then all of a sudden there's something. There was always gradual change. There were always messages. There were always ideas. There was always positioning. Positioning is an important one, because I could see that I was being positioned for something different. And I think that's part of the self-worth, is we have to look at where we were, what we're being asked to do, what we feel like we're capable of, or even have the capacity to do, and realize that some of this is like, most of it is higher than you. And so when you're being repositioned, it's saying, I made this for you. Like, this is your position. Nobody else can take it. So whenever you're ready, like, this is where you need to be. And so I feel like that just kept happening. And as soon as I would stop resisting, I say, okay, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to go. It would go smooth, like seamless. Like, I can't believe you were even worried about anything. And so that's kind of how that event was. And it was something that I was definitely looking forward to this event. Like, I knew I needed to be there. I knew I would have a good time. I knew it was going to be fruitful. Like, I knew those things because I felt it in my body. I felt it in my spirit. But I was like, I had this plan for this event to make sure it went smoothly and to make sure I enjoyed it. And none of those things happened. None of them. And I had to come up with something last minute. I had to get it done right before the event. I loaded up the car and I went, and I was like, it's going to be what it's going to be. Even outfit changes because of the rain. And I had to put on these boots that didn't go with my dressed up outfit because I wanted to be dressed up on Mother's Day. I ended up wearing my outfit anyway, but I just put on boots with it. And so it's just kind of like, oh, that's what it was. Cree Summers, I think that's her name. She was talking about like growing up with her dad. You know, he was this native man and he would walk around with no shoes. They'd pull up to the gas station and he like tells her like, watch your daddy get gas. They never had any money. They were like, you know, he was kind of like a hippie and they kind of bounced around from home to home for her growing up. And it turned into a game for him. Like whenever they came to a challenge or something that for most people, they would like spaz out or freak out. Like, I don't think I can say the word spaz. I don't know. But they would like, you know, it would be really like big hardships for most people feeling scarce and all these things. And, you know, he would end up getting gas. He would paint a sign for the person at the gas station. And then they would all end up being invited to dinner because that's just the type of person he was. And so sometimes there are 2 points from this. Sometimes it is just you, and that's that positioning. Like, this is who you are. This is what you were made for. But now that you've accepted this repositioning, here you go. Like, here's what you needed. Here's what you asked for. It's right here. You just have to go where you are being called. But the other thing with that is they started looking at the challenges as adventures. So as a child, you know, she didn't know that they didn't have these things or like this wasn't normal for everybody. She didn't say all that, I don't think. But in general, as a child, she was never worried about how they were going to be taken care of. And so as an adult, when guys or men she would meet would be like, well, I don't know how are we going to figure this out? You know, that was a turnoff for her. But really the point for me was looking at challenges or these seasons of life that seem heavy and difficult and like straining of, you know, when you can get your feet under you, because I can definitely recognize that it takes a minute to get your feet back under you. But when you can get your feet under you, then like something like that, to me, that is a simple thing, like me in this event and not having the things I needed. That is a simple thing. So I will not simplify some major life decisions and experiences people are having. But these, you know, these kind of things that we get so like concerned about and fixated on, and they're really small, they're really minor, they're not that serious. You know, if I ran out of product, use what you got. You don't feel like you have enough product, that's okay, you sell out of what you got. But I took it as a time to tap into my creativity. What can I make right now? Like, what do I like? And I just created. And in that space where I can clear out everything else, I knew I didn't have what I wanted. I knew I had what I needed. And I used that and I made more. And I think that is like the ancestral legacy, is being able to take little and make it big, like just make it bigger. That's expanding your capacity. It's like, I can take that one thing and I can make it this grand thing. I can make this grand idea. I can catalyze it. I can emphasize it. And for me, that's what I'm learning, is that I am a catalyst. Like, I make change happen. I make things happen. And not in a braggy way, like, I can get it done. But like, I have the ability, I have the ability to make things work. Not even make. I have the ability to be, make things work. I'm gonna just say that. And so like, I think a lot of us have this ability to take little or take nothing and make it plentiful, make it abundant. And I think that is ancestral legacy. I think that is ancestral memory. I think, you know, one of my teachers, Empress Karen Rose, she always talks about ancestral memory. And a lot of us, you know, we don't necessarily know what that looked like unless you've always been kind of focused on ancestral medicine in general. But ancestral memory is sometimes pulling from a place you cannot see, but you can feel it. It's in your DNA. It's in your body. It's in your ability to like move forward, to persevere, this resilience. And so that's what I'm learning that exists, that I have access to, that I really didn't know to tap into before, is that memory, which is another reason I like centers. But that's another topic, because I'm not doing a centers expo for y'all, because I can't get that. I can't go there. Yeah. So let's pull an oracle card to to close out today. So the deck I chose is the Medicine Woman Oracle. So, yeah, I think we're going to do our question after I pull a card. So I'm sitting here at my kitchen sink, child, because I was trying to do dishes. But I was like, no, let me get on here. This light coming through the window. Natural light is the only time I like to do videos because it just feels like natural. You know, it feels like we're outside talking. All right, so what is the soul medicine for this soul session? I did a lot of talking. But what is the thing you really want us to take away? Okay. All right, we got the Bison Totem. All right. The number 13, life is showering you with its abundance. Oh my God, that was going to be the question, is how can you take what you have and make it abundant? How can you stretch what you have and make it like, not even luxurious, but like just abundant, like big, like magnificent, beautiful, like, you know what I mean? Like if there was a painting, like where an artist starts with nothing and by the end there's this big mural. How can you do that in your life? How can you do that in this moment? And whatever you're being asked to do in the space you're being repositioned, how can you do that? Because I can feel it. Like it feels like a really exciting time. So 13, Bison Totem, life is showering you with its abundance. I am going to read it for y'all. 13. Okay. I am the spirit of the bison. I ensure you will want for nothing. Oh, excuse me. Emblem of winter, I bring you my support in tough times. They was reading my mind. They was reading my mind. Okay. Keeper of the northern door. Northern, I wonder if that's like the North Star, because that's kind of what we was talking about too. Okay, let's see. The bison shows the way towards sharing and giving ourselves. He reminds us that this is a world of abundance and teaches us to be satisfied with what we have already. Life is generous. The bison teaches us to appreciate our resources and use what we need respectfully. Traditionally, tribes honored this sacred animal that provided for them with its skin, meat, ligaments, and bones. The bison carries the spirit of community. Together, we are stronger. His message: show respect for and gratitude towards life. In return, life will give you everything you need in abundance. The guidance is, when the bison appears in a reading, it is for you to question your relationship with life. The bison invites you to become aware of the abundance around you. Everything is already here, right at your fingertips. You may be experiencing a time of shortage that worries you. By showing greater gratitude for what you already have, such as family, friends, and material possessions, you will find a new balance in the ability to honor life. By showing generosity, you will initiate a virtuous cycle, develop your inner riches, and find another page, your community. The medicines of the bison are solidarity and empathy. Okay, reaffirm your trust in life and its generosity to nourish a deep feeling of abundance. So they have like a cornucopia ritual. I won't get into that because that's another thing. But yeah, I think this is definitely calling on us, because I think this is a time where people do feel like, you know, now that I'm seeing this, and that's kind of what my mind went to today, before I saw the card, it really reflects on the fact that there's probably a lot of spaces where we're feeling scarce, we're feeling without, we're feeling like we need more support, we need more resources. The government isn't doing what it's supposed to do. The community isn't doing what it's supposed to do. These things we've depended on for so long are not doing what we would expect it to do. And so it is a time where we have to become more resourceful. We have to become more dependent on not just ourselves, but we have to learn to be in community with people we can be dependent on. Not dependent to where you can't function or you don't show up, but where you can gather together, where you can combine your resources, where you can share contacts, share food, share ideas, but it's a collaborative energy, because that's what we're going to need to continue to move forward. And I really think that's what we're going back to, like, collectively. And when I talk about the ancestral memory, that is the ancestral memory. That is how they got through hard times. That is how they got through good times. It's really like gathering together, connecting, really knowing your neighbors, knowing yourself, knowing what you contribute to the space, knowing how you want to contribute. And so when I talk about being repositioned, when I talk about being like called to, a lot of the times we're going to be repositioned into spaces that require us to show up in the community in a different way. I'm an introvert. I don't mind being in front of the camera, but I'm an introvert naturally. And I know that I'm being asked to not only be in front of the camera, but be in front of the room and speak. And I'm like, just put me in the camera. Like, let's do the virtual thing. But I'm being asked to like lead different things in person, and workshops and events and camps and all these things, people. And I'm like, whoa, I need a minute. Like, I have to have my time. But that's not what I'm being asked to do. I'm not being asked to withdraw behind close quarters and cut off everybody else and focus on only what I have going on. I had my time for that. That's what this last couple of years have been about, is this inner work that I had to do to get comfortable with myself, to create a new relationship with myself. And now they're saying, like, you did it. You're in this new space with yourself. There is a completion. Like, the work has been done. And so now we need you to see yourself in the way that you are. Like, not in the way that you've been told you are, you've been conditioned to be, but in the way that you are. And one of my coaches, Jada K. Story, says to see yourself rightly. And she might have got that from one of her teachers. I don't know. I be misquoting people all the time. But that is what she said, to see yourself rightly. And again, that ties to that ancestral memory of like, who were you created to be? Who were you sent here to be? Who are you connected to, even in your lineage? Who were they? What did they do? How is that being reborn in you, rebirthed in you? How are you connected to that? And so, like, that's a really exciting topic for me, because my ancestors, my family talks about them all the time. And I don't think they even think about it as ancestral veneration or any of those things. I think naturally we were just told to keep our ancestors' names alive. And we weren't told that. That was just what we were shown. Like, my family talks about my great-grandmother and all the different things she was involved in. A lot of us, when we go to family events, everybody's talking about this uncle. Maybe you never met him. Maybe you met him briefly. But like, these stories need to be kept alive, because there's something that's birthed or that comes out of us when we continue to hear these stories. There's a memory that we can pull onto, that we can access to understand resilience, to understand empowerment, to understand like positioning and alignment, and what's the other word I'm thinking about? Anointing. To understand our anointing also means to understand where we come from, who our lineage is, the environments we were raised in. Because I know some people weren't raised with the people with blood relatives and things like that, but there's still a lineage connected to you, and there's a memory there, and there's a calling for you in this season. There's a repositioning for you in this season. And so getting yourself to the point where you can receive this repositioning, where you can allow it to happen, and you can remove some of the resistance. So I said a lot today. I didn't even plan on coming here saying all of that. So I know that's just how spirit moves. And so again, like I said, I enjoy feeling the presence of God in a space, however it shows up. And a lot of times God shows up through us getting in tune with ourselves, like getting in touch with our own creativity, our natural flow. That is when God shows up the biggest. Spirit, that is where spirit shows up the largest, where you can feel the presence. Everybody can feel it in the room. Now, this is a side note, because we're supposed to be done. But I was talking to one of my friends the other day, and I was like, I finally see why church is important. Like, we talk about church and fellowship. And I don't really go to church these days, but, you know, with the background in Christianity, I don't mind going, but right now it doesn't feel in alignment for me right now. But I see what was so important about church. You know, they talk about the fellowship, but I think nobody ever described what they mean by fellowship. You know, gathering with people, being in community, but it's deeper than that, because it goes to the ancestral tradition of ritual. That is a space of ritual made for healing to happen. And when you read, like one of the books we read in class was Malidoma Somei's what is it? Because I got excited. The Healing Wisdom of Africa. He talks a lot about ritual. He talks a lot about that is who we are, like as far back as we can go, is we are people who heals in ritual. We grieve in community in this ritual space. And so there are spaces designated for us to move through these things we're feeling. And so in the Western world, that's why you have so many people who are anxious, who are depressed, who are mentally ill, because there is no ritual. There is no witnessing these transformations that are happening in people, these changes, these spiritual gifts coming online. There's no witnessing of that. There's no acknowledgement in a lot of spaces. And so he even talks about how a lot of people in the mental hospitals are people who have went through a spiritual transformation but did not have the support they needed for these gifts that were coming online. And I can even understand how scary that is, just in what I know about myself and how alone you feel when you're going through a spiritual transformation, especially when it's different from the people you're around. And so I was blessed to have a community of people by joining this, having the ability to join my apprenticeship when I was learning more about the herbs. But a lot of people don't have that. And so I think about all the people who did not have the resources and the support they needed to know they were going through this spiritual transformation. And it's scary because it's not something that we are taught, especially with a Christian background. If your granny or your mama didn't teach you, like, hey, this, and that about them dreams you having, you don't know. So again, that's that ancestral memory, because I did learn a lot about my great grandmother. I learned a lot about my grandmother, who is still here. I can watch my mom and see a different version of her that even she may not even express or say, but I can understand her differently going through the spiritual transformation that I did. So the point of this is to say that, I was just telling her, I kind of see the connection of how important church is, but it's really just gathering in community, gathering with people, workshops, wellness events, retreats. All of these things are about gathering to create a space. We may not call it ritual, but to create a space of ritual to help people to heal through, to transform through. I just got a message, sorry. And to support them in ways that a lot of people don't have. And sometimes our ancestral memory, our ancestral legacy is to be shared with other people. And so it's not to be held just for ourselves, just for our family, just for our comfort. It is to be shared. Like, my ancestral legacy is community. And so for me to sit in my house and disconnect from everybody, and not to be talking, to be sharing, I am literally going against every fiber in my body. Like, that is just not who I was created to be. That is not the legacy I've been left. I have been left the legacy of responsibility. And this is not responsibility. I had a terrible relationship with responsibility. But responsibility is not, it's not always heavy. It can be heavy. It has its moments of heaviness, but it's not always heavy. Sometimes responsibility is just your anointing. Like, it can be a beautiful thing to know why you were here, to know what you were called to do, and to share that, to talk about that. And I've always had a bad relationship with responsibility. I don't want no extra responsibility. I don't want nothing that I'm not supposed to be doing. I don't have to do. And I've shifted that. That was part of my work, was like, girl, like, responsibility is a blessing. To have a reason to be alive, to have a reason to show up every day, to have the motivation. Like, having responsibility wakes you up in the morning. Having responsibility gives you an opportunity to alchemize it into a joyous occasion, like a joyous celebration. Like, what are we going to make today? So sometimes you just need to be there. You need to be there. You don't have to figure it out. It don't have to go as planned, but you need to be there. And so all of this, boy, this was like coming down on me because I did not plan to talk about this. I'm going to say this every time. So anyway, we're going to keep doing this because I think I'm supposed to be here doing this. And the sun is setting. So I think we have finally closed. And I appreciate y'all sitting with me, listening to everything I had to say. I love questions. I love comments. I love going back and forth. Even if there was something, I don't always love correction, if I'm being honest, but I'll take it. I'll take it. So I appreciate y'all being here. My name is Marisha Simone. And I will see y'all next time. We'll do a Wednesday or Thursday check-in. I'll be moving. Maybe I'll give y'all a little clip of what's going on. I'll see y'all next time. All right, so here is a bonus to that video, because I really felt a heavy presence while I was talking, where I'm like, I don't know where this is coming from. So I was like, let me pull a card for me. So let me tell y'all what I got. I got Great Mystery. I reveal the wisdom keys of your destiny. We were talking about that, weren't we? I'm the crone, the grandmother. I watch over you constantly. I frequent the great mystery, which hands you the keys to the secrets of your destiny. My connection to the science of the stars and dance of the planets gives me. Well, we got to flip the page. Oh, I didn't even finish. When I read it for myself, I guess it's for y'all too because I didn't finish. Gives me great wisdom. Trust in my messages. My spirit is full of old memories, and I talk to the ancestors. I am the ancestral knowledge contained within the cycle of time and sacred legends. I guide you with love on your life's path, and I light the way to your destiny. You can call on me to better understand your life's experiences and embrace them. Through me, your ancestors send you their messages and protection. Life will give you whatever experience is most helpful for the evolution of your consciousness. Eckhart Tolle. Okay, so the guidance that I hadn't read yet was the time has come to lift a corner of great mystery's veil, and orient yourself on your life's path. The medicine woman of great mystery benevolently encourages you to discover who you truly are and what your next steps will be. She brings you greater confidence in your evolutionary processes. Explore the mystery of your roots. Have your astrological or numerological birth chart done. Make an appointment with your therapist. Something is in the works and you are blessed and protected. This is your time. Take stock on what you have learned and draw life lessons from your experience. Your wisdom is growing. And so this one is to awaken your medicine. You connect with this archetype to identify the gift or life lesson in the experiences you are going through. A signpost on your path, your destiny. Y'all, were we not just talking about this? Were we not just talking about this? I did not pull this card until afterwards. I'm like, okay, I did that and shared that. What's the medicine? What's the medicine that I need? Like, what is the message that I need from this moment? Okay, so I'm really signing out for real. I'll see y'all next week. This is gonna be fun. I am not preparing for these. I'm gonna just come on here and we're gonna talk.